Hello, IntoTheIndie here, and today I'm going to be talking about the namesake. More or less, what is IntoTheIndie, and where is it now? Along with, is there a chance for it to return? And surprisingly, the answer is yeah. But, kind of. Stick towards the end when I actually explain how it's going to come back in some form or fashion. Before I explain what the concept is, obligatory YouTuber plug. Like, subscribe, comment. In fact, I'll mention the comment plug toward the end. But so, IntoTheIndie as a concept, I made a video about it 6 years ago. And that's quite a bit. And as a result, a lot of it is kind of outdated, but I still really like it conceptually. Along with the fact that due to my reaction indie cross, that led a good amount of people to actually go back and see what I was talking about when I mentioned as an offhand about IntoTheIndie. So, the core of IntoTheIndie crossover to indie games through an action RPG lens. I wanted it to kind of have the exploration aspect, something like Breath of the Wild, but with combat work and something like Kingdom Hearts. As for the initial starting roster, because the original idea was that the starting party was going to be 4 characters, and then as you progress, you could do side quests and missions to unlock more characters to play as, but there are other franchises that would be represented solely through things like levels or bosses. As an example, I honestly thought I initially planned for Five Nights at Freddy's to come as a boss fight, and not as a playable character. Even now, I still think there isn't much in terms of a character that could have an interesting gameplay and still fit the mold. As for who these characters were, there's Steve from Minecraft, because Minecraft, along with one of the other starting characters, is what I personally call an OG. In other words, they are kind of the, at least for me, they are what made indie games household name. Indie games as a concept, a household name. So yeah, Steve from Minecraft, Couple Knight, take a look at where he's from, and the 2 oddballs that I still actually really like. But it really shows the age is Isaac from Binding of Isaac and Bendy from Bending the Machine. Fittingly, those 2 characters, I actually made separate videos talking about specifically how they will work mechanically. Now, the reason for 4, obviously, Steve and Shovel Knight are iconic. They are, again, the 2 franchises that I personally put as what made indie games become a household thing. Just standard. As for the other 2, they were more because of what they were, or rather, what their games were. With Isaac, I believe that a roguelike is a really interesting thing that's only really active outside of releasing in indie games. So having a roguelike character as one of the starting casts is nice. For Bendy, Mascot Horror is a cornerstone of indie gaming. So I wanted one representative, and I felt like Bendy, especially because at that time I was watching, I think technically watched Golf Emblem's Smash character series, and a lot of the Bendy concepts started from what he did for Bendy, which is basically a Bendy that can manipulate Bendy that was made correctly that can manipulate their own thing for cartoon style. I wanted to have the characters gameplay reflect how they fought. Like, with Bendy, he actually had modes in survival horror in a unique way, with his escape kit, which would show up when you're damaged, because normally he's just like the little cartoon guy with some machinery on him. But as he fights, he takes in from his enemies and it fills up, which strengthens attacks, gives him more range, etc. But if you actually get too much in it, if it fills up all the way, it will break and you'll become demon deadly. You'll get that beast form and you'll rampage. It'll probably end the fight, but if it doesn't, you are done. As being brought back to zero, especially after overcharge, means that you are significantly weaker, which I think is really cool. So, after that, where is it now? Like I said, I initially had a lot of pen to paper, or rather pen to page, but the issue is a lot of it was relegated to my school email account, which I lost access to when I graduated. So that was fun. But as for where it is now, that is where you guys can come in. I'm not asking for programmers or from it, just ideas. For you see, something I've been getting into over the past year is homebrew in D&D. So, I decided that it'll be good if IntoTheIndie could come back in its own way as a compendium. That way, instead of making a full game that has all glitches and stuff that can go wrong, instead there's a compendium of things you can add to your own campaigns to your own table that lets you put in various indie games. So, what did I mention with plug? Or rather, with how you guys can help. For you see, in a month will be my 9-year anniversary on YouTube. I don't know when my channel was made, but my first video is almost exactly a month now, the 26th of July. My first video was which will be Wednesday nights, where I go back and compare issues. easy to understand. Mending is also very simple. Your cape automatically repairs instead of being each dawn. It automatically repairs over the course of an hour. In addition, when you're done with your combat encounter, because of all that XP you're getting, your cape is instantly repaired, which I know it's more of a living thing, but that's a problem. And it converts to enchantment, which just converts experience into durability. Then you have unbreaking, which means it can last much longer. So, very simple to understand. Then there's rock, which is that's just based on something, which is a rock. And this is also requires you to actually use action for it. It's one that as soon as you activate, you know you have it. Which is that when you're fighting, it's like walking, and you're being, and it's like you're like but yes, it's not the charges, and one is an action to launch yourself in 60 any direction, not fully straight down. You don't know where you're supposed to This is supposed to reflect how you can use firework rockets. It is so fun. It is really fun. If you guys like this, like, subscribe, feel free to check out Wednesday nights, I will be homebrewing. I'm going back to what this channel started with, me just giving ideas. And once I reach 100 subscribers / followers on those 3 channels, I will then make